I kada sam razgovarao sa generalnim sekretarom NATO-a i kada sam razgovarao sa ljudima u Evropskoj uniji, svi bi slegali ramenima. A posljedice danas vidimo. Od onoga poštovaćemo je povelju Ujedinjenih nacija rezoluciju 1244, do toga da Amerikanci nedvosmisleno i otvoreno naoružavaju Albance na Kosovu i Metohiji, o Turskoj da ne govorim. Više nikakav problem nisu brze isporuke haubica 105 mm i svega drugog sa samo jednim jedinim ciljem, direktnog ugrožavanja Republike Srbije i njenog teritorijalnog integriteta i naravno napada na civilno stanovništvo i vojno-policijske strukture Republike Srbije. Drugi cilj ne postoji.
This is my video update on this Friday afternoon, December the 26th, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with a strike into Nigeria. A U.S. strike into Nigeria, which happened yesterday. U.S. President Trump posted about this strike on Truth Social. And also the U.S. Department of War posted Trump's statement from Truth Social saying, at POTUS, tonight at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military, and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, he said in his post on X that there is more to come. That is what he said. And I believe the government of Nigeria has issued a statement saying that this was a joint operation against ISIS in the northwest of Nigeria. My understanding of Nigeria is that the north is primarily Muslim, the south is primarily Christian, but the attacks that have been occurring over the past couple of months have more to do with land and grazing and farmers than an actual religious dispute. That's my understanding of what's happening or what has been happening recently in Nigeria. I could be wrong about that, so anyone that is watching this video from Nigeria, please comment down below and let the community know what is going on in Nigeria and what you believe these strikes were primarily about. Is this really about protecting Christians? Is this really about going after ISIS? Let us know in the comments down below. From Reuters, U.S. says it struck Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria. The summary from Reuters is Nigeria says joint operation with U.S. targeted terrorists. Trump says deadly strike against ISIS. Trump has warned of threat of Christians in West African country, and Nigeria does not rule out further joint strikes. So Reuters is also saying these were joint strikes and more may be coming. There was a terrorist attack in the northeast of Nigeria just a day or two ago. a horrific terrorist attack targeting a mosque in Nigeria, and at the moment, I believe 5 people were killed and over 30 injured at what was an apparent suicide terrorist attack at this mosque. So that is an update with the strikes into Nigeria, a joint operation between the U.S. and Nigeria, according to even the Nigerian government, a joint strike, but a message from Trump to ISIS and to the terrorists that he will protect Christians. ISIS, a lot of ISIS now, a lot of talk about ISIS all of a sudden. But anyway, all right, that is the update there. And we turn our attention now to how about we talk about the Kremlin's response to Zelensky's Christmas message. And Zelensky, in his Christmas message yesterday, he said that may he perish, in reference to Putin, most likely in reference to Putin. That was his Christmas message, his Christmas wish, was the hope that he may perish. I talked about it in my video update yesterday. Anyway, the Kremlin has responded to Zelensky's message. I don't know why I said it like that, but anyway, the Kremlin has responded to the Green Goblin's message. The Green Goblin that stole Christmas. Let's see. The Kremlin said that Zelensky's message was unhinged, an unhinged Christmas address, according to Peskov. Commenting on the video, Peskov said it appeared uncultured, embittered, and coming from a seemingly unhinged person. One wonders if he's capable of making any rational decisions towards a political and diplomatic settlement, the Kremlin spokesman added. Well, we're going to find out if Zelensky is capable of making a settlement, of putting together a diplomatic settlement, because according to the Kiev Post, they're the first ones to break this story. It looks like Zelensky is going to be in Mar-a-Lago in 2 days. 2 days, December 28th. Zelensky claims that he will be in Mar-a-Lago to meet with U.S. President Trump. I don't think the Trump White House has confirmed such a meeting, but Zelensky is saying this is pretty much a done deal. He says that, Zelensky says that there is a lot that can be decided before the new year. And he also claims that he has all kinds of new ideas in reference to a negotiated settlement in the conflict in Ukraine. And he is going to present his 20-point peace plan to U.S. President Trump, along with a whole lot of other documentation, according to the Kiev Post. They're reporting that the Zelensky regime has been hard at work creating all kinds of scenarios and plans and solutions to the conflict in Ukraine, all of it based on the 20-point peace plan. And Zelensky wants to meet with Trump and present this to the U.S. president in Mar-a-Lago, a trip to Florida for the Green Goblin that stole Christmas. According to Axios, President Trump will meet with Ukraine's Zelensky on Sunday at Mar-a-Lago, according to a senior Ukrainian official. The existence of the meeting indicates significant progress in the negotiations over Trump's peace plan. This has not been confirmed by the White House. At least at the time of me recording this video, I have not seen any statement from the White House or from Caroline Leavitt or the State Department confirming such a meeting to take place at Mar-a-Lago. And my personal take on this is that Trump would be a fool to take a meeting with Zelensky, because the 20-point peace plan, at least what we've been presented, the Kiev Post claims that the Zelensky regime has a whole lot of other documentation that they've prepared, but at least what we've been presented with is not much of a peace plan. Very, very little in terms of details as to how Zelensky sees a resolution in the conflict in Ukraine. Actually, the Kiev Post, even in their article about this possible meeting, they note that Zelensky still has not been able to solve the territory issue. He has not been able to, or at least to come up with a proposal for the territory, for security guarantees, and for reparations, for money. He has not been able to figure that one out in his 20-point peace plan. No details on those three critical points. The territory issue, according to his peace plan, is option number one, is that a DMZ is created. There's a freeze on the current contact line, and a DMZ is created where Ukraine withdraws a certain distance and Russia also withdraws the same exact distance, and therefore you have a freeze. And if Russia doesn't agree to that, then the other option, and this is all in Zelensky's 20-point peace plan, is that Donbass becomes an economic a free economic zone under the supervision of the United States. As far as the reparations goes, money. Russia pays money. That's pretty much what his 20-point peace plan is hinting at. And the security guarantees, which we don't have many details on, is some sort of Article 5-like guarantees. So three critical issues of which in Zelensky's 20-point peace plan, he has not figured out how he wants to present this to Trump, and he's asking for a meeting with Trump. So why would Trump take this meeting with Zelensky? It doesn't seem like the Green Goblin has anything concrete to present to the U.S. president with regards to the three critical issues in this conflict. So to me, this feels like a trick from Zelensky to get a face-to-face with the U.S. president, so that he can try to get Trump back on side with Ukraine and the Europeans. The perception that Trump is not on side with Ukraine or the Europeans, and the perception, the belief that Trump is working against Ukraine and the Europeans. And so the narrative is that they have to figure out a way to get Trump and the United States back on side when it comes to Project Ukraine. So that's what I believe this trip is really about, or at least the narrative of this trip to Mar-a-Lago, to win Trump over, even though there's no real concrete proposal to make to Trump. Of course, all of this negotiations and proposals that are being presented as some sort of peace plan are being done without the input or the participation of Russia, right? They're negotiating between themselves on this 20-point peace plan. None of this is being run by Russia, or at least it doesn't seem like it's being run by Russia, presented to Russia, because Russia would never agree to these types of terms in Zelensky's 20-point peace plan. But anyway, we've talked about this at length in many videos. I think something else is going on here, and my sources close to the Zelensky regime, close to the Green Goblin, my sources tell me that this is all about Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, that's what my sources are telling me, and I've got excellent sources close to the Green Goblin regime. Excellent sources, very, very close. And my sources are telling me that with a fresh 90 billion coming in from Europe in the form of a loan, Zelensky's going to take that 90 billion and he's going to make an offer to President Trump to purchase Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, and he's going to call it Green-a-Lago. I don't know. Maro Goblin. I don't know. I'm joking. He's not going to make an offer for Mar-a-Lago. Hey, Podolyak, we got 90 billion coming in. I like that Mar-a-Lago place. What you say, I buy it. Podolyak? Where are you, Podolyak? Where is Podolyak? Mr. President, how many times do we have to tell you? You fired him. When did I fire Podolyak? Did Zelensky fire Podolyak? I don't think he did. Reports say he did, but it doesn't look like he fired Podolyak. Maybe officially Podolyak has been let go, but maybe unofficially he's still hanging out with Zelensky. And he's an advisor in an unofficial capacity. And I say that because Podolyak, he gave an interview the other day, and he was asked about elections in Ukraine. And Podolyak, as an advisor to Zelensky, he said that Ukraine cannot afford elections. Can't afford elections. Pay up, Europe. Pay up, Germany. Pay up, Germany. France. You got to pay for our elections. Can't afford it. Elections are going to cost around $450 million, according to Podolyak. And the Ukraine government, they don't have that kind of money. They are broke, according to Podolyak. And whatever money does come in has to be allocated to the military and to keeping the government functioning. And so there is no money for elections, according to Podolyak. And there are polls which were released the other day, which claim that if there were elections, it would be a first round win for Zelensky and Zelensky, and they would make it to a second round runoff. And in that case, Zelensky would win the runoff with about 64% of the vote. But Podolyak is saying, can't do elections, don't have the money. Speaking to Novino Live on Thursday, Podolyak claimed there is another obstacle to holding a presidential vote. We are not supposed to finance this. Objectively, we cannot afford it because we have a budget deficit. Someone's going to have to pay for the elections. Someone's going to have to pay for it. It's going to be Europe. It's going to be Europe that's going to have to pay for the elections, right? If there are elections, I doubt there will be elections. But if you do have elections, the Europeans are going to have to pay for it. So Podolyak still giving interviews, still hanging around. That's good. That's good for this channel. That's good for this channel. I can still do the A Podolyak. Putin, he was speaking the other day, and he said, I forgot where he was giving this speech, but Kommersant, Russian media, they reported something really interesting about the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Now, one of the territorial issues is not only Donbass, another territorial issue that Zelensky alluded to in the 20-point peace plan, and Trump mentioned in his 28-point peace plan is the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Now, in both cases, in both peace plans, the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant goes to the United States. In the Trump 28-point peace plan, the U.S. is given the ZMPP by Russia. Russia gives the ZMPP to the Trump administration. Why? Just because. Just because they give it to the Trump administration. And in Zelensky's 20-point peace plan that he published the other day, the ZMPP is operated and managed by the United States along with Ukraine and Russia supporting the management, the U.S. management of the ZNPP. But in both peace plans, the ZNPP in one form or another goes to the Trump administration. And according to Kommersant, Putin said at this meeting, at this event, that Witkoff and Kushner, Trump's envoys, they're interested in the ZNPP because they want to use it for crypto mining. Crypto mining. U.S. wants Europe's largest nuclear plant for crypto mining, according to Putin. The Zaporozhye nuclear power plant has reportedly been a key point in President Trump's peace plan. In the ongoing U.S.-Russian negotiations, the president's envoys have shown interest in sharing control of the plant with Moscow and using Washington's stake to mine cryptocurrency, Putin said. Business Daily Kommersant wrote on Thursday. Moscow is also considering a U.S. proposal for the plant to once again provide electricity for Ukraine, he reportedly said. For Bitcoin? Or for something else? Crypto mining? Trump coin? Trump coin? Bitcoin? I don't know. But I thought that was an interesting statement from Putin, according to Kommersant. What do you think? What's your take on the ZNPP? No comment, huh? No comment. No comment on the ZNPP. Interesting bit of news. Maria Zakharova, she said that Ukraine is about to do a mass mobilization. 2 million Ukrainians, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry. Ukraine authorities plan to draft 2 million people in early 2026, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry. Full mobilization. That's what they're saying in Moscow at the Foreign Ministry. The problem that they have is that the people don't want to go to the front lines, right? So, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry, if this is to be believed, if this is true and to be believed, Ukraine is going to really, the Zelensky regime is going to really tighten the screws on mobilizing people, on getting people to the front lines. They're going to do away with any health exemptions and stuff like that. And they're just going to basically mobilize as many men as they can to send them to the front lines, because they have a huge problem in manpower. A lot of desertions, a record number of desertions, and of course a lot of casualties in 2025. So is this true? Don't know, can't say. But early 2026, I guess we'll find out if this is indeed the case. If this is the case, then it does signal it would signal that Ukraine, the conflict in Ukraine, at least from a military perspective and a manpower perspective, is reaching an endpoint when you have to mass mobilize in such a way. That's a horrific thing, but this is what the Foreign Ministry is saying. So on the front lines, Russia continues to advance in Guliapole in the Zaporozhye region. The Zaporozhye ZNPP nuclear power plant, the Zaporozhye region, could be captured by the end of the year. Russian forces are, from my understanding of things, they are in many parts of the center of Guliapole, and they've even captured barracks, Ukraine military, completely intact. The Ukraine military, they were leaving their positions, retreating from their positions, and they've even left documents and all kinds of papers and stuff at these locations. And the Russians, according to what I've seen, the Russian military now has all of these things in their possession, because the Ukraine military had to quickly retreat from Guliapole. So do not be surprised if by the end of the year you have a retreat from Guliapole and the Russian Ministry of Defense announcing a capture of this important area. I don't think it'll happen by the end of the year, or at least a statement from the Ministry of Defense. Probably not by the end of the year, but it could be coming, say, in the first week or two of January. In Kupiansk, There is fierce fighting according to various reports. Fighting is fierce in Kupiansk. Ukraine military continues to send troops to the area to try and capture Kupiansk, depending on which reports you read. Ukraine reports claim that Ukraine is making progress. The Russian reports claim that Russia is holding them back and is destroying a lot of men and material, trying to reclaim Kupiansk. But those are the reports that we're getting from Kupiansk, and there were more Russian strikes into Odessa yesterday. And what else? What else? There are reports which claim that Russia is now trying to disrupt the railway links from Poland to the front lines. The links that were transferring weapons from Poland, from the west of Ukraine, to the front. And it does look like that for the first time in this conflict, the Russian military, at least I don't think they've done this before. They're now actually trying to disrupt the weapons transfers from Poland, the railway links and the weapons transfers. I think that's a first. Amazing, huh? 4 years of the conflict, and Russia hasn't decided to take out these railway links, or at least not a serious attempt, a sustained serious attempt to take out these railway links. So that's the situation on the front lines. A brief summary of what's going on the front lines. Let's do a clown world, and we can wrap up this video. How's everyone's Christmas? Everyone that celebrated Christmas. Did you guys have a good Christmas day? I hope everyone had a good Christmas day. Let's do a clown world to wrap up this video. A couple of days ago, Renaissance man Hunter Biden, he was on Sean Ryan's podcast. Podcasting is cool. Everyone is doing podcasts, and Hunter Biden is doing a lot of podcasts. He's appearing on a lot of shows. Something's going on. I would not be surprised, and you heard it here first, I would not be surprised if Hunter Biden might be running for president in 2028. I would not be surprised if that happens, because you are seeing him appear on a lot of podcasts, and there seems to be a type of rehabilitation, if that's the correct word, of Hunter Biden. And this podcast was long. My understanding of this podcast was that it was 4 or 5 hours, this Sean Ryan podcast, and Hunter Biden, he talked about everything. He talked about everything, Hunter Biden. Renaissance man. He's a VC, he's a real estate entrepreneur, he's an artist, he's a book author, he's a master chemist. He's an oil and gas expert sitting on the board of Burisma, a true Renaissance man. And he's a podcast guest extraordinaire, Hunter Biden. But he revealed during this podcast that he is $15 million in debt. That's right. I've got $15 million in debt that I have no idea that I'm going to be able to pay off. We have no generational wealth. Come on. 10% for the big guy, no generational wealth? How is that possible? He's $15 million in debt. That is what Hunter Biden claims. Just a couple of years ago, he was living in, maybe he still is living in this place, but he was living in California. The reports were, I haven't been able to verify these reports, but the reports were that he was paying $20,000 a month, and he was driving around in a very nice Porsche car, and yeah, he was living pretty good. He was selling paintings when Biden was president, selling paintings at Not a couple $100,000, $500,000. An original Hunter Biden. He had a book that came out. I believe he wrote a book as well. He was doing a lot of stuff, but now he is revealing that he's $15 million in debt, and he has no idea how to pay it off. Because the Biden family does not have generational wealth, according to Hunter. And then he also talked about Burisma and Ukraine. That's right. He talked about Burisma. It was a big mistake, Hunter Biden sitting on the board of Burisma. He said that Ukraine is a den of vipers, or a viper's den. That's what he said about Ukraine. 1 second. In an interview on Sean Ryan's show, aired on Monday, Hunter expressed regret about his involvement in Ukraine's affairs. It was a mistake because I was very, very naive about what a viper's den Ukraine is. What an absolute level of corruption that is still staggering because they're part of a kleptocracy, he added. He went on to explain that he believed his tenure in Burisma to be a blunder, not because of anything that I did, that I am embarrassed about, or in any way whatsoever feel conflicted about as it relates to what I did for Burisma, but because of the political position that it put us all in. What exactly did you do at Burisma? That would have been my question to Hunter Biden. Tell us again what you did at Burisma. Oil, gas, board of directors, advisor. What exactly were you doing on the board of Burisma? Not only Hunter Biden, but also his buddy as well. What was his buddy's name? Evan Archer, I think? I'm not sure. His college friend. A couple of people, a couple of U.S. officials or relatives of U.S. officials, whatever. They were all on the board of Burisma, if I remember correctly, about that company. But Hunter Biden was definitely on the board, and he was making close to $1 million a year. At least those are the reports. And he's not complaining about the money. He's not complaining about the money that he was getting. No regrets about the money I was getting. I'm not conflicted about that. It's just that I was naive. I was young and naive. And I just didn't realize what a viper's den it was. The kleptocracy, the corruption. I had no idea. Poor Hunter. Poor Hunter had no idea of the corruption in Ukraine at Burisma. And then he found out about the corruption and he was just naive about it. I wonder why he didn't tell his father, who was president, about his revelation of Ukraine being corrupt as daddy was sending $300 billion to the Zelensky regime. How come Hunter didn't have a sit down with his pops and say, Dad, I've been on the board of Burisma since 2000, when was it, 2015, 16? I don't know, I'm not sure of the dates, 2014, 15, 16, whatever. I've been on the board of Burisma, Dad, for a couple of years now, and man, it's corrupt. Den of vipers, Pops, den of vipers. So I wouldn't send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, Dad. That would be my advice. Did he have that talk with his father? I don't think so. He's now telling us that it's corrupt. Kleptocracy. Vipers. Anyway. Like this video. Share this video. Subscribe to this channel. And go to the Durant shop. Pick up some merch. Check us out on Substack. I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.